Today in our 2018 Ford Expedition, we're going to be taking a look at and showing you how to install the Roadmaster battery charge line kit for towed vehicles, part number RM-156-25. So here's what our charge line kit looks like once we have it installed. And it's going to take the 12-volt power from our RV and transfer it through this breaker to the positive post on our battery so that we have a constant trickle charge going to our battery, so when we get to our destination, our expedition won't be dead. Our charge line kit's going to provide 15 amps to avoid overcharging our battery. And it's going to hook directly into our 6 or 7-way on the front of our expedition. That way when we plug up for our lights, our 12-volt power source will be already plugged in. Just keep in mind you do need a 12-volt power source at the back of your motorhome in order to give it power. And if you don't have 12 volts at the back of your 7-way at the motorhome, we do have a charge line kit for the motorhome available here at eTrailer.com. Our charge line kit's going to come with everything you need to get it installed. Let's show you how to do that now. To begin our installation, I do want to mention that we're wiring all this up while our fascia is still removed from when we put our base plate on, because it's going to make routing everything a lot easier, just like when we did our wiring and our braking system. But our charge line kit is going to tap into the plug that we have in the front of our vehicle. So we're going to have to loosen it up and remove it so we can get access to the wires. So if you have any tape or any silicone holding the boot on the back of your plug, you're going to want to remove that and clean that all up so that we can get access to the terminals on the inside. Now for our application, we're going to be using the center pin because that's going to be our 12-volt auxiliary port. So we'll need a Phillips screwdriver to loosen up that set screw. Then we can grab the red wire out of our kit and we'll strip back the end of it. And I'm actually going to pass it through the back of my dust cover. Then I'll take the stripped end and I'll put it in that terminal. And then we'll tighten up our set screw. Then we can come back, put our boot back on, and put all our tape or silicone back on and make sure it stays in place. Now before we mount up our plug, I'm going to take some of the loom from the kit and I'm going to put it over my wire. That way it'll help hide it. We don't have to worry about the red showing up so much on the front of our expedition. And with the loom in place, we can go ahead and remount our plug using the hardware that we took out. So we routed our wire from our plug. We came across towards the passenger side. And we came underneath the headlight here and went into the engine bay. Now our wire came up right by our washer tank and our battery here, and we still have a little bit of excess wire that can reach the battery. But we're going to find a spot to mount our breaker. Our breakers are going to have these 2 tabs on it that we can use to mount it. And if we come towards the outside of our battery box here, we'll have a nice flat plastic surface that we can mount it to. So we can grab one of the included self-tapping screws and a 5/16 nut driver, and we're just going to go right into that plastic. You want to leave that first one a little loose so we can make sure it doesn't spin on us, and then we'll put the second one in place. So we're going to take our wire, we're going to route it over towards our breaker, and we'll cut back the wire. And you want to hold on to the excess wire because we will be using that later. We'll strip back the end of our wire. And then we're going to take one of the small ring terminals from our kit and clip it in place. Now this one that's plugged into the front of our vehicle is going to be going to the copper colored post. It is going to be labeled BAT for battery. So we're going to loosen that up. We'll slide our wire over, then we'll replace the nut. Now we're going to take the excess wire that we had from before, we'll strip back the end, and we're going to put another small ring terminal on the end of it. And this end of our wire is going to be going to the silver post on our breaker, and that's going to be labeled AUX for auxiliary. We'll route that length of wire over to the positive post on our battery. So we'll lift up on the cover, slide it out of the way, and we're going to need enough that we can hook it up, but it's always a good idea to give yourself a little bit of extra in case we need to move it or we need to pull the battery terminal off. So we can use the rest of the wire and not trim any off. We'll just tuck it away so we'll have plenty of wire. But we'll strip back the end of it. And this time we're going to be grabbing the larger ring terminal out of our kit and we'll crimp it onto the end of our wire. So then we can grab a 10mm socket and we'll remove the nut on the positive post. We'll take our wire from our breaker, slide it over the post, and then replace the nut. And then all we have left to do is tuck our wire away and clean anything up and tighten down the two nuts on our breaker. Use a 3/8 socket or a 10mm socket to tighten those up. That'll finish up your look at the Roadmaster battery charge line kit for towed vehicles, part number RM-156-25 on our 2018 Ford Expedition.